Why do Russian billionaires keep disappearing? Do you think a revolt of the majority could dethrone Putin? Well, even the thought is unconvincing. Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the Russian people who were the wealthiest and even the dearest to Putin. Thought they could end his era, instead found themselves either dead or exiled. You want to know more? Let's dig in. But before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and press the bell icon so you don't miss our latest videos. So, let's begin. Boris Berezovsky. Boris Berezovsky, the only child of a factory worker and a nurse. So he wasn't exactly billionaire material when he started importing computer software and cars back when the Soviet Union was still around. Just a regular small-time businessman. But there was one thing that set him apart from all the other wannabe billionaires. He was close friends with Russian President Boris Yeltsin's chief of staff, and that was all he needed to get himself appointed as the head of massive Russian businesses like the airline Aeroflot, and auto manufacturer Avto VAZ, the oil company Sibneft, and Channel 1 Russia. That TV channel would come in handy because when Putin was running for president, Boris used his TV channel to get deeper into Putin's good graces by mocking Putin's rivals on air and publishing fake reports to make Putin look good. Putin became president, and it appeared that Boris Berezovsky had nowhere to go but up. But then he turned on Putin and started talking trash about the new president's policies. No one knows why he flipped on Putin, but he did. He even said that capitalists should interfere with Russia's political process. And surprise, surprise, Berezovsky found himself under investigation for fraud not long after. Berezovsky fled to London to live in exile, but his television assets were taken over by Russian government, and he was found dead in March 2013, apparently by suicide. According to Putin's spokesperson, the exiled Russian tycoon Boris Berezovsky sent Putin a letter before he died, asking for forgiveness and permission to return to Russia. Pretty convenient, right? Putin's #1 credit dies by suicide, but not before apologizing for everything he's done and begging to return home. A post-mortem exam concluded that it was indeed suicide, but then just 2 days later, thanks to conflicting evidence, the coroner reversed his decision and left his death as an open verdict, indicating that his death appears suspicious. But there is insufficient evidence to determine whether it was a suicide or if he was suicided. After Boris died, another oligarch, Roman Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea Soccer Club, took over almost all of his businesses, and unlike his predecessor, Roman never dared to criticize Putin, and he has served him well. Today, he is worth over $13 billion, while his predecessor is in exile. Being a Russian oligarch doesn't mean you sway Putin or control the Russian government, at least not anymore. Being a Russian oligarch means complete loyalty to Putin, not because they believe in their great leader, but because Putin has the guns, soldiers, assassins, and poison. One wrong move and they can be imprisoned, lose their empires, be exiled, commit suicide, or a combination of the above. The Great Fire Sale. Before the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, there were very few wealthy Russians, and even those who were wealthy weren't exactly wealthy. But with the fall of the Soviet Union came an opportunity to make a lot of money. You see, in the Soviet Union, all energy, industrial, and financial industries were owned by the government, and by the time Boris Yeltsin became president of Russia, the government owned 45,000 businesses. Now that communism is technically over, those businesses had to privatize, which meant that the government had to hand over control of those businesses to private individuals. However, there was a problem back in the day when some of the wealthiest Russians belonged to the Russian mob. If Yeltsin put all those businesses to the open market, the mob would sweep everything up and control Russia's new economy. So instead, they devised a plan in which the Russian government would issue share vouchers to the general public, which could be used to purchase a stake in any business that was for sale. Basically, a piece of paper that allowed you to purchase stock in a company. However, Yeltsin overlooked one issue. Most Russians were poor at starvation. And when you're poor, the last thing on your mind is making long-term investments. Instead, all you care about is getting money for your next meal. Poor Russians didn't care about shares in the company when they could have money now, and that's exactly what the richer Russians offered them in exchange for their share vouchers. So millions of Russians sold their vouchers to a small group of Russian men who used their vouchers to buy all those 45,000 companies at fire sale prices, many of whom would become billionaires in the process. By the time regular Russians figured it out, people were furious because a group of around 10 men controlled 70% of the country's finances. Not only were these guys filthy rich, but they now controlled the entire economy. They controlled all the businesses that made everything, giving them a lot of influence and power over Russian President Boris Yeltsin. These men would become known as Russia's oligarchs, and for a while, it looked like their power and influence was unmatched. But then, under dubious circumstances, a new leader emerged, a man named Vladimir Putin, who vowed to rid the Kremlin of the oligarchy. Putin's oligarchy. On July 28, 2000, Putin gathered the top 20 oligarchs and informed them that they no longer had political clout. Putin agreed to let these oligarchs keep their companies and money if they remained loyal to him, and the people ate it up. So he began appointing his friends as high-ranking military officers and key government officials in charge of all Russia's major businesses. Akardi Ruttenberg was one of Putin's picks. Today, Akardi is the CEO of Russia's largest gas pipeline and electrical power construction company, with a net worth of around $3 billion. Who is Akardi Ruttenberg? A business graduate, a military leader, or a minister? Nope. Akardi is Putin's ex-judo coach and partner. Their childhood friends, Akardi, was handpicked to become a billionaire just because he was friends with Putin, and rumor has it they still train to this day. With Putin in power, the rules of the game had changed. No longer was it the oligarchs telling the government what to do, it was Putin telling the government what to do with a gun. But one oligarch didn't like it and decided to fight back. Boy, was that a mistake. Prison, exile, and bankruptcy. In 2003, Mikhail Khodorkovsky was Russia's richest man, with a net worth of an estimated $15 billion. Mikhail was the head of YUKOS oil company and Russia's top oligarch. But there was a problem. You see, Mikhail believed that as the country's wealthiest man, he had some leverage over Putin. After all, Putin couldn't just kill or arrest the country's wealthiest man, right? And Mikhail didn't like all the new rules Putin was forcing the oligarchs to follow. So he felt it was his duty to stand up. In February 2003, Mikhail did something no other guy had dreamed of doing. He confronted Putin in public about government corruption, the same corruption that allowed Putin to pick who took over businesses and who made the most money. He had embarrassed Putin in public, and now he was going to face the consequences. Soon after the meeting, Mikhail's business partner was arrested and his oil companies were given security. But instead of respecting Putin's warning, Mikhail kept speaking out louder and louder. And on October 25, 2003, Mikhail was arrested and sentenced to 9 years in Moscow's most notorious prison, Matrosskaya Tishina. And even then, he wouldn't shut up, so he was sent to a labor camp. Russia's richest man now works in the factory making mittens. In less than 2 years, he lost everything: his company, his money, and his freedom. And by 2013, Mikhail finally got out, and now he lives in exile. After Mikhail's fall from grace, it was clear that a new unspoken rule had emerged, and the message was clear: you stay out of my politics, and I won't throw you in prison, destroy your company, and take your wealth. And that message remains true to this day. And that's all for today, guys. Enlighten us with your thoughts, share them in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe to our channel and ring the bell icon for more amazing videos. And thank you for watching.